This is part 153 of ASP.NET tutorial. In this video, we'll discuss menu control in ASP.NET. We'll be using the layout of the master page that we discussed in part 147, so please watch part 147 from the ASP.NET tutorial before proceeding with this video. As the name speaks for itself, menu control in ASP.NET is used to display a menu in an ASP.NET web application. Let's understand using this menu control with an example. First, let's copy the layout of the master page. And let's flip to Visual Studio. And instead of this content placeholder, let's actually paste the copied HTML. And if we flip this to the design mode, notice that this is the same layout that we discussed in part 147. I'm not going to get into the details of this HTML. We discussed that in detail in part 147. Now, if you notice Solution Explorer here, we've got several content pages. So how did I get these content pages? I have simply right-clicked on the master page and select this option, Add Content Page, and once the content page is added, I've changed the names accordingly. And if you're wondering why do I have so many content pages, that's basically to support a menu that looks like this. So for example, when I click on Employee menu item, we want to navigate the user to employee.aspx page. That's the reason I have so many pages here. Alright, now first let's design our menu control so that it looks like this. Okay, so let's get rid of this text altogether. Now if you notice this text, this is present inside an h3 tag. So let's flip this master page to the source mode and get rid of this h3 tag from there. And now let's drag and drop menu control. So notice that the menu control is actually present under the navigation tab. Let's double click that. So here we have the menu control. Now a menu contains items. What items does it contain? It contains menu items. And this menu item has got several attributes. Okay, so we're going to use text attribute. So basically we want the text to be home. So first we want to display this text home. And value is also going to be, for now, home. And navigate URL. So obviously when we click on this menu item home, where do we want the user to redirect to? We want the user to go to home.aspx page. Okay, so if we flip this to the design mode, notice that we have that home menu item. In a similar fashion, we want employee menu item, and under employee we are going to have these three menu items: upload resume, edit resume, and view resume. So let's include another menu item. So here the text is going to be employee and value is also going to be employee, and we want the user to navigate to employee.aspx. And under employee menu item we want upload resume, edit resume, view resume. So let's copy this menu item once again and paste that inside this menu item. Look at this, a menu item can contain another menu item, and that's how we get that hierarchy. So under employee we want upload resume, edit resume, and view resume. So here the text is going to be something like upload resume. Value is also going to be upload resume, and navigate URL is going to be upload resume.aspx. So let's copy this and paste it here. Look at that, this menu item is also present inside employee menu item, which means next we are going to have edit resume menu item. So this edit resume menu item is going to be underneath employee menu item. So here it's going to be edit resume, and navigate URL is going to be edit resume. So we have upload resume and edit resume pages. Alright, now let's flip this to the design mode and notice that we have employee and there's a little arrow there. So when we actually navigate to home page, let's open up home page and run this by pressing Ctrl F5. So basically all the pages in the application are using site.master master page. Look at that, we have home, employee. And as soon as I hover my mouse over employee, look at the menu items underneath employee are automatically popped out. Okay, now when I hover my mouse away, they go away. Now if I click on employee menu item, look at that, we are redirected to employee.aspx page. In a similar fashion, when we click edit resume, look at that, we are there on edit resume.aspx. Now let's go ahead and actually get the menu items for employer and admin as well. And to speed things up, I have already typed that HTML. So let's copy this and paste it in our master page. Basically this, is the same HTML that we have just seen. So let's paste it right here. And if you flip this to the design mode, look at that, home, employee, employer, and admin. And let's actually run this once more so that we can see all the menu items in action. Look at that, I have employer, I have admin. So add user, we go to add user.aspx. Alright, now by default, if you look at this menu control, it's actually present in vertical orientation. But if you want it in horizontal orientation, so something like this, then how do we achieve that? Simply set this orientation attribute, change that to horizontal. If you don't specify the orientation, the default is going to be vertical. So if you look at our menu control on the master page, at the moment we didn't specify any properties for the menu control. Let's actually format this HTML by selecting the entire HTML and pressing Ctrl K and D. So a menu control contains items. Let's minimize the items. Look at this, we only have ID and run at attributes, and we didn't specify orientation, so by default it's going to be vertical orientation. But let's change the orientation to horizontal, and let's run this once more. So this is vertical orientation. Let's see how horizontal, because of we don't have enough space, that's why it doesn't show up properly here. So let's do this. Let's actually move that menu control into the header. So after the H1 tag here, let's paste it right there and let's run it. We are on the master page and we have run the project, that's why we are getting this page. Let's be on the home page and then press Ctrl F5 so that we are redirected to home page. Now look at that, home, employee, employer, and admin. So this is horizontal orientation. Alright, so let's actually put it back to where it was. And let's reload this. So it's present here, but let's change the orientation. Let's get rid of that orientation attribute altogether. So we should get the default orientation, which is vertical. Alright. Now, by default, static display levels property is set to 1. This means only the first level is statically displayed. So if you notice, at the moment, this menu control that we are using, we have defined only 2 levels. That is, this is the first level, root level, and then once I select, hover my mouse over employee, we have another level. That's it. We don't have any other level beyond that. Okay, and by default, the static display levels property is set to 1, meaning display only the top level. Okay, but for some reason, if you want the menu control to appear like this, you want to expand or statically display all, basically both the levels of the menu item, then you would set that static display levels to 2. So let's actually set that and see it in action. So static display levels equals 2, and if we flip this to the design mode, you can see that here itself. Okay, so let's save these changes and let's refresh our window. Notice that we have all the links there. Now since we don't have another level, we don't have that little arrow, but let's include another level, maybe under upload resume, and see if we get that little arrow there. So here we have upload resume menu item. A menu item can contain another menu item. So let's actually copy the menu item here and paste that inside upload resume menu item. And let's say this is XXX. Alright, now let's flip this to the design mode. Look at that, upload resume has already got that little arrow. So let's save it and let's refresh this. And look at this, when hover my mouse over upload resume, we get that popped out. And obviously we don't have xxx.aspx page, that's why we would get a crash. Alright, so that's static display levels property. And there's another interesting property, disappear after. So to control the amount of time it takes for the dynamically displayed portion of the menu to disappear, then use disappear after. So basically, if you look at, let's actually navigate to home.aspx. So at the moment, notice that when I move my mouse over, it stays for a little time. That's basically the default value for this property, disappear after, is 500 milliseconds if we don't specify it. But for some reason, if you want that menu item to be there for, let's say, 2 seconds, then you would specify that as 2000 milliseconds. So let's actually come here and then specify, let's actually get rid of the static display levels and specify disappear after to maybe 2000 milliseconds, meaning the menu item, the dynamically displayed portion of the menu item, is going to stay there for 2 seconds once it is displayed. And after 2 seconds, it's going to disappear. Look at that, it's there. Now I move my mouse away. Look at that, it's there for 2 seconds and then it disappears. So depending on your project requirement, you can set that attribute. In our next video, we'll discuss using styles with this menu control so that it is displayed properly. Alright, that's it for today. Thank you for listening. Have a great day.